Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel Arshi Ansari.
Chapter 7 according to the new NCERT Human Health and Disease। छोटा सा चैप्टर है वैसे तो, इतना ऐसा कुछ डिफिकल्टी वाली बात भी नहीं है। तो इसमें कॉमन डिसीजेज इन ह्यूमन पढ़ेंगे, इम्यूनिटी के बारे में पढ़ेंगे, एड्स, कैंसर, ड्रग अब्यूज एंड अल्कोहल। शुरू करते हैं। Health for a long time was considered as a state of body and mind where there were where there was a balance of certain humors. This is what early Greek like Hippocrates as well as Indian Ayurveda system of medicine asserted. It was thought that person with black bile belonged to hot personality and would have fevers. This idea was arrived at by pure reflective thought, the discovery of blood circulation by William Harvey using experimental method and the demonstration of normal body temperature in person with black bile using thermometer disproved the good humor hypothesis of health. In later years, biology stated that mind influenced through neural system and endocrine system, our immune system, and that our immune system maintain our health. Hence, mind and mental state can affect our health. Of course, health is affected by genetic disorder, deficiencies with which a child is born, and deficiencies defect which the child inherit from parents from birth, infections and lifestyle including food and water we take, rest, exercise we give to our body, habit that we have or lack, etc. The term health is very frequently used by everybody. How do we define it? Health does not simply mean absence of disease or physical fitness. It could be defined as a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. When people are healthy, they are more efficient at work. This increases productivity and brings economic prosperity. Health also increases longevity of people and reduce infant and maternal mortality. ऑब्वियस सी बात है, जब बंदा स्वस्थ होगा तो ज़्यादा काम करेगा। हम भी जब अच्छे से होते हैं, माइंड फ्रेश होता है, सब कुछ होता है, तो ज़्यादा पढ़ पाते हैं। बैलेंस डाइट, पर्सनल हाइजीन, रेगुलर एक्सरसाइजेज आर वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट टू मेंटेन गुड हेल्थ। एज आई ऑलवेज सेड, सिर्फ अपनी पढ़ाई पर और हेल्थ पर फोकस करो, बाकी सारी चीज़ों को साइड में रखो। Yoga has been practiced since time immemorial to achieve physical and mental health, awareness about disease and their effect on different bodily functions, vaccination, immunization against infectious diseases, proper disposal of waste, control of vector, and maintenance of hygiene in food and water resources are necessary for achieving good health. When the functioning of one or more organs or system of the body is adversely affected, characterized by appearance of various signs and symptoms, we say that we are not healthy, that is, we have a disease. Disease can be broadly grouped into infectious and non-infectious. Disease which are easily transmitted from one person to another are called infectious diseases. Infectious diseases are very common and every one of us suffers from these at some time or other. Some of the infectious diseases like AIDS are fatal. Among non-infectious disease, cancer is the major cause of death. Drug and alcohol abuse also affect our health adversely. Drug and alcohol is the most सिली रीजन, आप खुद ही अपने आप को उस चीज की तरफ ले जा रहे हैं कि आप मर जाएं। ये क्या है? ड्रग और टबैको वगैरह, ये सब कुछ आई डोंट लाइक। कॉमन डिसीज इन ह्यूमंस, अ वाइड रेंज ऑफ ऑर्गेनिज्म बिलोंग टू बैक्टीरिया, वायरस, फंजाई, प्रोटोजोन्स, हेलमेंट्स एक्सेट्रा कुड कॉज डिसीज इन मैन। ये सारी चीज़ों से, ये सारे माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म डिसीज कॉज करवाते हैं। सर डिसीज कॉजिंग ऑर्गेनिज्म are called pathogen. Most parasites are therefore pathogen as they cause harm to the host by living in or on them. The pathogen can enter our body by various means, multiply and interfere with normal vital activities, resulting in morphological and functional damage. Pathogens have to adapt to life within the environment of the host. For example, the pathogen that enter the gut must have a way of surviving in the stomach at low pH and resisting the various digestive enzymes. A few representative members from different group of pathogenic organism are discussed here along with the disease caused by them, preventive and control measure against these disease in general are also briefly discussed. यानी कुछ डिसीज पढ़ाई जाएंगे, उसकी कंट्रोल पढ़ाए जाएंगे, बताया जाएगा क्या क्या किस वजह से क्यों क्या सिम्टम्स, एवरीथिंग विल बी डिस्कस इन डिटेल अबाउट द डिसीज. तो सबसे पहली है साल्मोनेला टाइफी. अब इनमें क्वेश्चन मोस्टली एंड मेजरली मैच द फॉलोइंग की फॉर्म में आता है, तो कीप दिस इन माइंड. Is a pathogenic bacterium which causes typhoid fever in human being. These pathogens generally enter the small intestine through food and water contaminated with them and migrate to other organ through blood. Sustain high fever 39 degree to 40 degree Celsius. Weakness, stomach pain, constipation, headache, loss of appetite are some of the common symptoms of this disease. Intestinal perforation and death may occur in severe cases. Typhoid fever could be confirmed by Vidal test. Intestinal perforation का मतलब होता है स्मॉल इंटेस्टाइन में छेद हो जाना एक तरीके से, और वहाँ से फिर थोड़ा बहुत जो भी है लीकेज टाइप होना. विडाल टेस्ट, टाइफाइड का टेस्ट का नाम है विडाल टेस्ट. अ क्लासिक केस इन मेडिसिन दैट ऑफ मैरी मेलन, निक नेम टाइफाइड मैरी, जिसने सारा टाइफाइड फैलाया है. इज वर्थ मेंशनिंग हियर शी वाज अ कुक बाय प्रोफेशन एंड वाज अ टाइफाइड कैरियर who continued to spread typhoid for several years through the food she prepared. Bacteria like, ठीक है बस इतना ही इसके बारे में बताया. अब तुम्हारा साल्मोनेला टाइफी वाला, साल्मोनेला टाइफी और माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म और डिसीज हो गई टाइफाइड, वो खत्म यहाँ पे. नेक्स्ट इज बैक्टीरिया लाइक स्ट्रेप्टोकोकस निमोनिया. निमोनिया ही नाम में आ रहा है तो निमोनिया कॉज करता होगा. Haemophilus influenza are responsible for the disease pneumonia in human, which affect the alveoli, air-filled sacs of the lungs. As a result of the infection, the alveoli get filled with fluid, leading to severe problems in respiration. The symptoms of pneumonia include fever, chills, cough, and headache. In severe cases, the lips and fingernails may turn grey to bluish in color. A healthy person acquired the infection by inhaling the droplets, aerosols released by an infected person, or even by sharing glasses and utensils with an infected person. यानी फुल वायरल डिजीज है कि अगर किसी को कुछ भी दे दोगे तो उसे लग जाएगी. Dysentery, plague, diphtheria, etc. are some of the other bacterial diseases in men. Many viruses also cause disease in human beings. Rhinoviruses represent one such example of viruses which cause one of the most infectious human ailments, the common cold, जो सबको होता रहता है. They infect the nose and respiratory passage but not the lungs. Lungs को infect नहीं करते हैं. The common cold is characterized by nasal congestion and discharge, sore throat, hoarseness, cough, headache, tiredness, etc. सबको सारे symptoms पता ही होंगे मोस्टली क्या क्या होता है कॉमन कोल्ड में. Which usually lasts for 3 to 7 days. Droplets result from cough or sneezes of an infected person are either inhaled directly or transmitted through contaminated objects such as pen, books, cups, doorknobs, computer keyboard or mouse, etc. and cause infection in a healthy person. Some of the human diseases are caused by protozoans too. ये क्यों पीछे रहे? You might have heard about malaria, a disease man has been fighting since many years. Plasmodium, a tiny protozoan, is responsible for this disease. Different species of Plasmodium, Plasmodium vivax, malaria, falciparum, are responsible for different type of malaria. Of these, malignant malaria caused by Plasmodium falciparum is the most serious and can be fatal. जो malignant वाला होता है वो जान भी ले सकता है हमारी. Let us take a glance at the life cycle of Plasmodium. अभी आगे देखेंगे, पहले पढ़ लेते हैं फिगर. प्लाज्मोडियम एंटर द ह्यूमन बॉडी एज स्पोरोजोइड इन्फेक्शियस फॉर्म को स्पोरोजोइड बोला गया है थ्रू द बाइट ऑफ इन्फेक्टेड फीमेल एनोफिलीज मॉस्किटो। हमारे सर यूजुअली ये पढ़ाते हुए हमेशा कहते थे खून पीने का काम सिर्फ औरत का होता है एंड ऑल गर्ल्स वर ऑफेंडेड ऑन दैट लाइन। देन फिर सर कवर करते थे कि मच्छर में फीमेल, मच्छर वाली औरत, इंसान वाली औरत। The parasite initially multiply with the liver cell and then attack the RBC, resulting in their rupture. The rupture of RBC is associated with the release of toxin substance hemozoin, which is responsible for the chill and high fever recurring every 3 to 4 days. When a female anopheles mosquito bite an infected person, these parasites enter the mosquito's body and undergo further development. The parasite multiply within them to form sporozoids that are stored in their salivary gland. When these mosquito bite a human, the sporozoids are introduced into his or her body, thereby initiating the events mentioned above. It is interesting to note that the malaria parasite required two hosts, human and mosquito, to complete its life cycle. The female Anopheles mosquito is vector transmitting agent too. इसको छोटा कर लेते हैं ताकि एक ही स्लाइड में आ जाए पूरा। होप इट इज विजिबल। तो सबसे पहले यहाँ पर मच्छर ने काट लिया, ठीक है। फीमेल मॉस्किटो टेक अप गेमेटोफाइट विद ब्लड मील। फर्टिलाइजेशन एंड डेवलपमेंट टेक प्लेस इन द मॉस्किटो गट, ठीक है। मैच्योर इन्फेक्टिव स्टेज स्पोरोजोइड एस्केप फ्रॉम गट एंड माइग्रेट टू द ह्यूमन, माइग्रेट टू द मॉस्किटो सलाइवरी ग्लैंड। यहाँ से यानी वो दोबारा आके काटेगी तब जाके ये वाला प्रोसेस होगा, ओके। When the mosquito bite another human, sporozoids are injected with bite, यानी उन्हें किसी और को जाके काट दिया तो वो चीज फिर उसकी दूसरे इंसान की बॉडी में फैल गई, ओके, गॉट इट। पैरासाइट sporozoid reach the liver through blood. The parasite reproduce asexually in liver cell, bursting the cell and releasing into the blood. Parasite reproduce asexually in red blood cell, bursting the red blood cell and causing cycle of fever and other symptom. Release parasite infect new RBC. Sexual stage gametophyte develop in RBC, male female, फिर गैमेटोफाइट बन गया, फिर साइकिल रिपीट होती रही। यहाँ पे जो भी प्रोसेस दिखाया गया है ये मॉस्किटो वाला दिखा दिया कि भाई मॉस्किटो दो होस्ट दिखाए हैं तो मॉस्किटो वाले होस्ट का क्या रोल है वो इधर दिखा दिया, ह्यूमन वाले होस्ट का क्या रोल है वो इधर दिखा दिया। इस वाले पोर्शन में और इस वाले पोर्शन में दोनों का लिंक हो गया कि भाई कैसे कैसे किसी और की बॉडी में जाके वो फैलता रहता है, फिर इसको काटो उसको काटो और फिर उसको फैलाते जाओ। तो जो भी है अब हमने पढ़ लिया है, मलेरिया भी समझ में आ गया है। आगे बढ़ते हैं। प्लाज्मोडियम एक माइक्रो ऑर्गेनिज्म कैन अफेक्ट यू कितना लेवल पे। एंटोमोबा हिस्टोलिका इज अ प्रोटोजोन पैरासाइट इन द लार्ज इंटेस्टाइन ऑफ ह्यूमन व्हिच कॉज amoebiasis, amoebic dysentery. Symptoms of this disease include constipation, abdominal pain, cramps, stool with excess mucus and blood clots. Houseflies act as mechanical carrier and serve to transmit the parasite from feces or infected person to food and food products, therefore contaminating them. Drinking water and food contaminated by the fecal matter are the main source of infection. अब पॉलिनेशन करते हुए तो सुना था कि भाई इंसेक्ट जो है वो पॉलिनेशन करने में बड़ा योगदान है उनका एंड ऑल दैट, बट ये डिजीज फैलाने में बहुत योगदान है इनका, मच्छरों का, हाउस फ्लाइज का। एस्कैरियोसिस, द कॉमन राउंड worm and Wucheria, the filarial worm, are some of the helminths which are known to be pathogenic to men. Ascaris, an intestinal parasite called ascariasis. Symptoms of this disease include internal bleeding, muscular pain, fever, anemia, and blockage of the intestinal passage. The eggs of the parasite are excreted along with the feces of infected person, which contaminates soil, water, plant, etc. A healthy person acquires this infection through contaminated water, vegetable, fruit, etc. Wucheria, Bancrofty, Malai. The filarial worms cause a slowly developing chronic inflammation of the organ in which they live for many years, usually the lymphatic vessel of the lower limb, and the disease is called elephantiasis or filariasis. ये दिखाया गया है यहाँ पे हाथी का पैर. The genital organs are also often affected, resulting in gross deformities. The pathogen are transmitted to a healthy person through the bite by the female mosquito vectors. Many fungi belonging to the genera Microsporum, Trichophyton, and Epidermophyton are responsible for ringworms. This is ringworm, which is one of the most common infectious diseases in men. Appearance of dry, scaly lesions on various parts of the body, such as skin, nails, and scalp, are the main symptom of the disease. These lesions are accompanied by intense itching, heat, and moisture help these fungi to grow, which make them thrive in skin folds such as those in the groin or between the toes. Ringworm are generally acquired from soil or by using towels, clothes, or even the comb of infected individual. Maintenance of personal and public hygiene is very important for prevention and control of many infectious diseases. Measures for personal hygiene include keeping the body clean, consumption of clean drinking water, food, vegetable, fruit, etc. Public hygiene include proper disposal of waste and excreta, periodic cleaning and disinfection of water reservoirs, pools, cesspool, and tanks, and observing standard practice of hygiene in public catering. These measures are particularly essential where the infectious agents are transmitted through food and water, such as typhoid, amoebiasis, and ascariasis. In case of airborne disease such as pneumonia and common cold, in addition to the above measure, close contact with the infected person or their belongings should be avoided for disease such as malaria and filariasis that are transmitted through insect vectors. The most important measure is to control or eliminate the vector and their breeding places. This can be achieved by avoiding stagnation of water in and around residential areas, regular cleaning of household coolers, use of mosquito net, introducing fish like gimbos and pond that feed on mosquito larvae, spraying of insecticide in ditch, ड्रेनिंग एरियाज ऑफ स्वैम्स एक्सेट्रा, यानी किस किस तरीके से आप क्लीन रख सकते हैं आपको समझा दिया गया है, और आप अब भी गंदा रखते हैं तो आपकी गलती है. इन एडिशन डोर एंड विंडो शुड बी प्रोवाइडेड विद वायर मैश टू प्रिवेंट द एंट्री ऑफ मॉस्किटो. सच वायर मैश यानी जाली, जाली बोलते हैं हिंदी में, वायर मैश बोल दिया गया. वाओ, कितना अच्छा नाम दे दिया गया, लोहे की जाली. Such precautions have become more important, especially in the light of recent widespread incidents of the vector-borne Aedes mosquito disease like dengue, chikungunya in many parts of India. मुझे दोनों हुआ है, but I am still alive. देखो कितना strong body. The advancement made in biological science have armed us to effectively deal with many infectious diseases. The use of vaccine and immunization programs have enabled us to completely eradicate a deadly disease like smallpox. A large number of other infectious diseases like polio, diphtheria, pneumonia, and tetanus have been controlled to a large extent by the use of vaccine. Biotechnology, about which you will read in chapter 10, is at the verge of making available newer and safer vaccine. Discovery of antibiotics and various drugs has also enabled us to effectively treat infectious disease. Sorry. Next is immunity. Every day we are exposed to large number of infectious agents. However, only a few of these exposures result in disease. Why? This is due to the fact that the body is able to defend itself from most of these foreign agents. This overall ability of the host to fight the disease-causing organism conferred by the immune system is called immunity. Immunity is of two types: innate immunity and acquired immunity. Innate is inborn, acquired is जो हम खुद एक्वायर करते हैं बाद में. innate पढ़ लेते हैं. Innate immunity is non-specific type of defense that is present at the time of birth. This is accomplished by providing different type of barrier to the entry of the foreign agent into our body. Innate immunity consists of 4 type of barriers. These are physical, physiological, cytokine and neutrophil वाला नहीं, neutrophil वाला तो हो गया, सेलुलर और साइटोकाइन. ओके, मैंने साइटोकाइन पहले बोल दिया था, सॉरी. Physical barrier. Skin on our body is the main barrier which prevent entry of the microorganism called mucus coating of the epithelium lining the respiratory, gastrointestinal and urogenital tract also help in trapping microbes entering our body. Physiological barriers. Acid in the stomach, saliva in the mouth, tears from eyes all prevent microbial growth. यानी जो बहुत रोता है उसकी माइक्रोबियल ग्रोथ कम होती है. एज आई एम अ वेरी इमोशनल पर्सन, तो मेरे माइक्रोबियल ग्रोथ मैं कम करवाती हूँ रो रो कर. Certain type of leukocyte, WBC of our body like morphonuclear leukocyte, PMNL neutrophils and monocyte, natural killer type of lymphocyte in the blood as well as macrophages in tissue can phagocytose and destroy microbes. Cytokine barrier. Virus infected cells secrete protein called interferons which protect non-infected cells from further viral infection. Acquired immunity. Acquired immunity, on the other hand, is a pathogen specific. It is characterized by memory. This means when our body encounters a pathogen for the first time, it produces a response called primary response, which is of low intensity. Subsequent encounter with the same pathogen elicit a highly intensified secondary or anamnestic response. This is ascribed to the fact that our body appear to have memory of the first encounter. यानी पहली बार अगर किसी को कोल्ड हुआ एग्जाम्पल के तौर पे मान लीजिए, तो उसकी बॉडी ने प्राइमरी रेस्पॉन्स तैयार कर लिया कि अगली बार कोल्ड होगा तो इसको ऐसे डील करनी है. बॉडी की आर्मी देख रहे हो कितनी डेडिकेटेड है. The primary and secondary immune response are carried out by the help of 2 special type of lymphocyte present in our body, that is B lymphocyte and T lymphocyte. Army का नाम है ये. The B lymphocyte produce an army of protein in response to pathogen into our body to fight with them. These protein are called antibiotics. The T cells themselves do not secrete antibody but help B cell to produce them. Each antibody molecule has 4 peptide chain, 2 small called light chain and 2 longer called heavy chain. Hence, an antibody is represented as S2L2. This is light, this is heavy. Longer one is heavy, shorter one is high. और कहीं नहीं लिखा हुआ पूरे थ्योरी में, बट ये सल्फाइड बॉन्ड से लिंक हुई भी है. इस पे एलन के टेस्ट सीरीज में क्वेश्चन था लास्ट ईयर एंड आई वाज लाइक ये तो मैंने पढ़ा ही नहीं है, ये कहाँ से आया है क्वेश्चन. फिर डायग्राम देखा तो पता चला ओके यहाँ से आया है क्वेश्चन. डिफरेंट टाइप ऑफ एंटीबॉडी आर प्रोड्यूस इन आवर बॉडी. IgA, IgM, IgE, IgG आर सम ऑफ देम. A cartoon of the antibody is given in 7.4 जो हमने देख लिया है. Because these antibody are found in the blood, the response is also called as humoral immune response. This is one of the 2 type of our acquired immune response. Antibody mediated. The second type is called cell mediated immune response or cell mediated immunity, CMI. The T lymphocyte mediates CMI. Very often when some organ like heart, eye, liver, kidney fail to function satisfactorily, transplantation is the only remedy to enable the patient to live a normal life. Then a search begins to find a suitable donor. Why is it that the organ cannot be taken from just anybody? What is it that the doctor check? क्या चेक करते हैं, क्या मैच करते हैं? Graft from just any source, an animal, another primate or any human being cannot be made since the graft would be rejected sooner or later. Tissue matching, blood group matching are essential before undertaking any graft transplant, or even after this the patient has to take immunosuppressant all his or her life. The body is able to differentiate self and non-self, and cell-mediated immune response is responsible for the graft rejection. Active and passive immunity. When a host is exposed to antigens, which may be in the form of living or dead microbes or other protein. Antibodies are produced in the host body. This type of immunity is called active immunity. Active immunity is slow and take time to give its full effective response. Injecting the microbe deliberately during immunization or infectious organism gaining access into body during natural infection induce active immunity. When ready-made antibodies are directly given to protect the body against foreign agents, it is called passive immunity. Do you know why mother's milk is considered very essential for the newborn infant? The yellowish fluid colostrum secreted by mother during the initial days of lactation has abundant antibodies IgA to protect the infant. The fetus also receives some antibodies from their mother through the placenta during pregnancy. These are some examples of passive immunity. Vaccination and immunization. Teekakarn. The principle of immunization or vaccination is based on the property of memory of the immune system. In vaccination, a preparation of antigenic protein of pathogen or in pathogen vaccine are introduced into the body. The antibodies produced in the body against these antigen would neutralize the pathogenic agent during actual infection. यानी उन्हें वीक करके डाला जाता है बॉडी के अंदर ताकि बॉडी उसके अगेंस्ट एक आर्मी खड़ी कर ले. इन केस फ्यूचर में अगर वो हम उससे अफेक्ट होते हैं तो हमारे पास फाइट करने के लिए ऑलरेडी आर्मी रेडी हो. The vaccine also generate memory. B and T cells that recognize the pathogen quickly on subsequent exposure and overwhelm the invaders with a massive production of antibodies. If a person is infected with some deadly microbes to which quick immune response is required, as in tetanus, we need to directly inject the preformed antibodies or antitoxin. A preparation containing antibodies to the toxin even in cases of snake bite. The injection which is given to the patient contain preformed antibodies against the snake venom. This type of immunization is called passive immunization. Recombinant DNA technologies has allowed the production of antigenic polypeptide of pathogen in bacteria or yeast. Vaccine produced using this approach allow large scale production and hence greater availability for immunization. Example, hepatitis B vaccine produced from yeast. Next is allergies. Allergy is कोई किसी को नहीं मतलब कोई इसको नहीं रोक सकता. इज दैट हो रही है तो हो रही है, नहीं हो रही तो नहीं हो रही. बेसिकली देयर इज नो मेडिसिन फॉर एलर्जी. ठीक है, पढ़ते हैं आगे. When you have gone to a new place and suddenly you started sneezing, wheezing for no explained reason, and when you went away your symptom disappeared. मेरे साथ भी होता है ये चीज. Did this happen to you? Some of us are sensitive to some particles in the environment, and I am sensitive to most of the particles in the environment. The above mentioned reaction could be because of allergy to pollen, mites, etc., which are different in different places. The exaggerated response of the immune system to certain antigen present in the environment is called allergy. The substance to which such an immune response is produced are called allergens. The antibody produced to these are IgE type. Common example of allergens are misted dust, pollen, animal dander, etc. Symptom of allergic reactions including sneezing, watery eyes, running nose, and difficulty in breathing. Allergy is due to the release of chemicals like histamine and serotonin from the mast cells. For determining the cause of allergy, the patient is exposed to or injected with very small doses of possible allergens and the reaction studied. The use of drugs like antihistamine, adrenaline, and steroid quickly reduce the symptom of allergy. ये भी बस सप्रेस कर देते हैं, बट एकदम अगर आप उस जगह से आओगे तभी आपकी चीज़ सही हो पाएगी. बाकी दिस इज नॉट द मेडिसिन. अगर आप किसी एलर्जी वाले डॉक्टर के पास जाते हैं तो वो आपको यही लिख के देगा और इससे ही आपको थोड़ा बहुत आराम होता है. Somehow modern day lifestyle has resulted in lowering of immunity and more sensitivity to allergens. More and more children in metro cities of India suffer from allergies and asthma due to sensitivity to the environment. This could be because of the protective environment provided early in life. और सहज के रखो अपने बच्चों को, फिर थोड़ी सी भी धूल मिट्टी आएगी ना तो हंसते फिरेंगे. Autoimmunity. Memory-based acquired immunity evolved in higher vertebrates based on the ability to differentiate foreign organism, example pathogen, from self cells, which may, while we still do not understand the basis of these two collaboratives of this ability have to be understood. One, higher vertebrate can distinguish foreign molecule as well as foreign organism. Most of the experimental immunology deal with this aspect too. Sometimes due to genetic and other unknown reason, the body attacks self cells. This results in damage to the body and is called autoimmune disease. Rheumatoid arthritis, which affect many people in our society, is an autoimmune disease. Immune system in the body. The human immune system consists of lymphoid organ, tissue, cells, and soluble molecules like antibodies. As you have read, immune system is unique in the sense that it recognizes foreign antigen. Response to these and remember them. The immune system also play an important role in allergic reaction, autoimmune disease, and organ transplantation. Lymphoid organ. These are the organ where origin and or maturation and proliferation of lymphocyte occur. The primary lymphoid organ are bone marrow and thymus, where immature question आता है, where immature lymphocyte differentiate into antigen sensitive lymphocyte. After maturation, the lymphocyte migrate to secondary lymphoid organ. ये भी आता है, like spleen, lymph nodes, tonsil, bare patches of small intestine, and appendix. The secondary lymphoid organ provide the site for interaction of lymphocyte with the antigen, which then proliferate to become effector cells. The location of various lymphoid organs in the human body is shown in figure 7.5. Lymphatic vessel है, thymus है, lymph nodes है. The bone marrow is the main lymphoid organ where all blood cells including lymphocytes are produced. The thymus is a lobed organ located near the heart and beneath the breastbone. The thymus is quite large at the time of birth but keep reducing in size with age, and by the time of puberty is attained, it reduces to a very small size. Both bone marrow and thymus provide microenvironment for the development and maturation of T lymphocyte. The spleen is a large bean-shaped organ. It mainly contains lymphocyte and phagocyte. It acts as a filter of the blood by trapping blood-borne microorganisms. Spleen has a large reservoir of erythrocyte. The lymph nodes are small solid structure located at different points along the lymphatic system. Lymph nodes serve to trap the microorganism or other antigens which happen to get into the lymph and tissue fluid. Antigen trapped in the lymph node are responsible for the activation of lymphocyte present there and cause the immune response. There is lymphoid tissue also located within the lining of the major tract, respiratory, digestive, and urogenital tract, called mucosa associated lymphoid tissue. It constitutes about 50% of the lymphoid tissue in human body. The word AIDS stand for acquired immunodeficiency syndrome. This means deficiency of immune system acquired during the lifetime of an individual, indicating that it is not a congenital disease. Syndrome means a group of symptoms. AIDS was first reported in 1981, and in the last 25 years or so, it has widespread all over the world, killing more than 25 million persons. Oh, bhai. AIDS is caused by the human immunodeficiency, a member of a group of virus called retrovirus, which have an envelope enclosing the RNA genome. Transmission of HIV infection generally occurs by sexual contact with infected person, by transfusion of contaminated blood and blood products, by sharing infected needles, as in case of intravenous drug abusers, and from infected mother to her child through placenta. Some people who are at high risk of getting affected this infection include Individuals who have multiple sexual partner, drug addict who take drug intravenously, individuals who require repeated blood transfusion, and children born to an HIV infected mother. Do you know when do people need repetitive blood transfusion? Find out and make a list of such. It is important to note that HIV and AIDS is not spread by mere touch or physical contact. It's spread only through blood fluids. It is hence imperative for the physical and psychological well-being that the HIV/AIDS infected person are not isolated from family and society. There is always a time lag between the infection and appearance of AIDS symptoms. This period may vary from a few months to many years, usually 5 to 10 years. After पहले वो देख लेते हैं how this virus work in the body, कैसे अपनी आर्मी बनाता है, कैसे अफेक्ट कर देता है इन्फेक्टेड पर्सन को. रेट्रोवायरस वायरल आरएनए कोर होता है. वायरस इन्फेक्ट नॉर्मल सेल और ये अंदर प्रोटीन कोड है इसका. अंदर आ गया वायरस. रिवर्स ट्रांसक्रिप्टेज कर ली. अच्छा जी. डीएनए इनकॉर्पोरेट डीएनए बना के ह्यूमन जीनोम में डाल दिया अपना. न्यू आरएनए प्रोड्यूस बाय इन्फेक्टेड सेल. न्यू वायरसेस आर प्रोड्यूस. और ऐसे जाके फिर अपनी नई आर्मी तैयार करता रहता है. वेरी चिलाक. कभी कभी डायग्राम बेस्ड क्वेश्चन आ जाता है, तो कीप दिस इन माइंड. कहाँ पे आरएनए है, कहाँ पे डीएनए है, कहाँ पे रिवर्स ट्रांसक्रिप्टेज है, कहाँ पे न्यू आरएनए न्यू वायरल आरएनए है. तो इट इज समहाउ इम्पोर्टेंट. आगे बढ़ते हैं. After getting into the body of the person, the virus enter into the macrophage where RNA genome of the virus replicate to form viral DNA with the help of the enzyme reverse transcriptase. The viral DNA gets incorporated into the cell's DNA and direct the infected cells to produce viral particles. अभी हम देख कर आ रहे हैं. The macrophage continue to produce virus as in this way act like a HIV factory. Simultaneously, HIV enter into helper T lymphocyte replicate and produce progeny viruses. The progeny viruses released in the body attack other helper T lymphocyte. This is repeated, leading to progressively decrease in the number of helper T lymphocyte in the body of the infected person. During this period, the person suffers from bouts of fever, diarrhea, and weight loss. Due to decrease in the number of helper T lymphocyte, the person starts suffering from infection that could have been otherwise overcome, such as those due to bacteria, especially mycobacterium, viruses, fungi, and even parasite like toxoplasma. The patient becomes so immunodeficient that he or she is unable to protect himself or herself against these infections. A widely used diagnostic test for AIDS is ELISA, enzyme linked immunosorbent assay. Treatment of AIDS with antiretroviral drug is only partially effective. They can only prolong the life of the patient but cannot prevent death, which is inevitable. Like that. मतलब बंदा मर ही जाएगा एंड में. बस डॉक्टर्स क्या कर सकते हैं, उसकी जिंदगी का टाइम पीरियड थोड़ा बढ़ा सकते हैं. प्रिवेंशन क्या है? एज एड्स हैज नो क्योर, प्रिवेंशन इज द बेस्ट ऑप्शन. बेस्ट. However, HIV infection more often spread due to conscious behavior pattern and is not something that happens inadvertently like pneumonia or typhoid. Of course, infection in blood transfusion patient, newborn from mother, etc. may take place due to poor monitoring. The only excuse may be ignorance, and it has been rightly said, don't die of ignorance. In our country, the National AIDS Control Organization NACO and NGOs are doing a lot to educate people about AIDS. WHO has started a number of programs to prevent the spreading of HIV infection, making blood from blood banks safe from HIV, ensuring the use of only disposable needles and syringes in public and private hospital and clinic, free distribution of condoms, controlling drug abuse, advocating safe sex, and promoting regular checkup for HIV in susceptible population are some steps taken up. Infection with HIV or having AIDS is something that should not be hidden, since then the infection may spread to many more people, HIV/AIDS infected people need help and sympathy instead of being shunned by society. Unless society recognizes it as a problem to be dealt with in a collective manner, the chances of wider spread of the disease increase manifold. It is a malady that can only be tackled by the society and medical fraternity acting together to prevent the spread of the disease. ओके जी, आगे बढ़ते हैं. कैंसर. Cancer is one of the most dreaded diseases of human being and is a major cause of death all over the globe. More than 1 million Indians suffer from cancer and a large number of them die from it annually. The mechanism that underlie development of cancer or oncogenic transformation of cell, its treatment and control have been some of the most intense areas of research in biology and medicine. In our body, cell growth and differentiation is highly controlled and regulated. In cancer cell, there is breakdown of these regulatory mechanism. Normal cells show a property called contact inhibition, by virtue of which contact with other cell inhibit their uncontrolled growth. Cancer cell appear to have lost this property. Contact inhibition वाली property खो देते हैं. As a result of this, cancer cells just continue to divide, giving rise to masses of cells called tumors. Tumors are of two types, benign and malignant. Benign tumors normally remain confined to their original location and do not spread to the part of the body and cause little damage. The malignant tumor, on the other hand, are a mass of proliferating cells called neuroplastic or tumor cells. These cells grow very rapidly, invading and damaging the surrounding normal tissue. As these cells actively divide and grow, they also starve the normal cell by competing for vital nutrients. Cells lot from such tumor reach distant site through blood, and where they get lodged in the body, they start a new tumor there. This property called metastasis is the most feared property of malignant tumor. मेटास्टेसिस यानी जगह जगह पहुंच जाना उसका, और वो जो चीज़ होती है उससे भाई चांसेस ऑफ डेथ बढ़ जाते हैं. यानी यहाँ भी ट्यूमर, वहाँ भी ट्यूमर, बंदा इज क्लोज टू डेथ. Cause of cancer: transformation of normal cell into cancerous cell. Cancerous neuroplastic cell may be induced by physical, chemical or biological agent. These agents are called carcinogens. Ionizing radiation like X-ray and gamma ray, and non-ionizing radiations like UV cause DNA damage, leading to neuroplastic transformation. The chemical carcinogens present in tobacco smoke have been identified as a major cause of lung cancer. Cancer causing viruses called oncogenic viruses have genes called viral oncogenes. Furthermore, several genes called cellular oncogenes or proto-oncogenes have been identified in normal cell, which when activated under certain conditions, could lead to oncogenic transformation of the cell. आगे कैंसर डिटेक्शन एंड डायग्नोसिस. Early detection of cancer is essential as it allows the disease to be treated successfully in many cases. Cancer detection is based on biopsy and histopathical studies of the tissue and blood and bone marrow tested for increased cell count. In the case of leukemias, in biopsy, a piece of the suspected tissue cut into thin section is stained, examined under microscope. Histopathological studies by a pathologist technique like radiography, use of X-rays, CT and MRI. Techniques like radiography, use of X-ray, CT, computed tomography and MRI, magnetic resonance imaging, are very useful to detect cancer of the internal organ. Computed tomography uses X-ray to generate a three-dimensional image of the internal of an object. MRI uses strong magnetic field and non-ionizing radiations to accurately detect pathological and physiological changes in the living tissue. Antibodies against cancer-specific antigen are also used for detection of certain cancers. Techniques of Molecular biology can be applied to detect gene in individual with inherited susceptibility to certain cancer. Identification of such gene which predispose an individual to certain cancer may be very helpful in prevention of cancer. Such individual may be advised to avoid exposure to particular carcinogens to which they are susceptible. Example, tobacco in case of lung cancer. Treatment of cancer. The common approach for the treatment of cancer are surgery, radiation therapy, and immunotherapy. In radiotherapy, tumor cells are irradiated lethally. Taking proper care of the normal tissue surrounding the tumor mass, several chemotherapeutic drugs are used to kill cancerous cells. Some of these are specific for particular tumors. Majority of drugs have side effects like hair loss, anemia, etc. Many cancers are treated by combination of surgery, radiotherapy, and chemotherapy. Tumor cells have been shown to avoid detection and destruction by immune system. Therefore, the patient are given substances called biological response modifiers such as alpha interferon, which activate their immune system and help in destroying the tumor. Drug and alcohol abuse. Surveys and statistics shows that use of drug and alcohol has been on the rise of, especially among the youth. This is really a cause of concern as it could result in many harmful effects. Proper education and guidance would enable youth to safeguard themselves against these dangerous behavior patterns and follow healthy lifestyle. The drugs which are commonly abused are opioids, cannabinoids, and coca alkaloids. Majority of these are obtained from flowering plants. Some are obtained from fungi. Opioids are the drugs which bind to specific opioid receptor present in our central nervous system and gastrointestinal tract. Heroin, commonly called smack, is chemically diacetyl morphine, which is a white, odorless, bitter crystalline compound. This is obtained by acetylation of morphine, which is extracted from the latex of poppy plant Papaver somniferum. डायग्राम देख लेते हैं. Chemical structure of morphine. Here is a nitrogen CH3, एक ring cyclohexane, benzene with OH, यहाँ पे ऑक्सीजन, हाइड्रोजन, OH. ओपियम पॉपी का प्लांट है. Generally taken by snorting and injection, heroin is depressant and slow down body functions. Cannabinoid are a group of chemicals. This is cannabinoid structure which interact with the cannabinoid receptor present principally in the brain. Natural cannabinoids are obtained from the inflorescence of the plant Cannabis sativa. This is the plant. The flower, tops, leaves, and the raisins, the cannabis plant, are used in various combinations to produce marijuana, hashish, charas, and ganja. Generally taken by inhalation and oral ingestion, these are known for their effects on cardiovascular system of the body. Coca alkaloid or cocaine is obtained from coca plant Erythroxylum coca, native to South America. It interferes with the transport of the neurotransmitter dopamine. Cocaine, commonly called coke or crack, is usually snorted. It has a potent stimulating action on central nervous system, producing a sense of euphoria and increased energy. Excessive dosage of cocaine causes hallucinations. Other well-known plant with hallucinogenic properties are Atropa belladonna and datura. This is the plant of datura. These days, cannabinoids are also being abused by some sports persons. Drugs like barbiturate, amphetamines, benzodiazepines, and other similar drugs that are normally used as medicines to help patients cope with mental illness like depression and insomnia are often abused. Morphine is very effective sedative and painkiller and is very useful in plants who have undergone surgery. Several plant, fruit, and seed having hallucinogenic properties have been used for hundreds of years in folk medicine, religious ceremonies, and ritual all over the globe. When these are taken for a purpose other than medicinal use or in amounts frequency that impairs one's personal physiological or psychological function, it constitutes the drug abuse. Smoking also paves the way to hard drugs. Tobacco has been used by human beings for more than 400 years. It is smoked, chewed, or used as a snuff. Tobacco contains a large number of chemical substances, nicotine and alkaloid. Nicotine stimulates adrenal gland to release adrenaline and non-adrenaline into blood circulation, both of which raise blood pressure and increase heart rate. Smoking is associated with increased incidence of cancer, lung, urinary bladder and throat, bronchitis, emphysema, coronary heart disease, gastric ulcer, etc. Tobacco chewing is associated with increased risk of cancer of the oral cavity. Smoking increases carbon monoxide content in blood and reduce the concentration of heme-bound oxygen. This causes oxygen deficiency in the body. When one buys packet of cigarette, one cannot miss the statutory warning that is present on the packing, which warns against smoking and says how it is injurious to health. Yet smoking is very prevalent in society, both among young and old. Knowing the dangers of smoking and chewing tobacco and its addictive nature, the youth and old need to avoid these habits. Any addict require counseling and medical help to get rid of the habit. Adolescence and drug alcohol abuse. Adolescence means both a period and a process during which a child becomes mature in terms of his or her attitudes and belief for effective participation in society. The period between 12 to 18 years of age may be thought of as adolescence period. In other words, adolescence is a bridge linking childhood and adulthood. Adolescence is accompanied by several biological and behavioral changes. Adolescence thus is a very vulnerable phase of mental and psychological development of an individual. Curiosity, need for adventure and excitement and experimentation constitute common causes which motivate youngsters during drug and alcohol use. यानी उन्हें ऐसा लगता है, क्यूरियोसिटी जागती है कि भाई क्या होगा, ये करके देखते हैं, लेट्स ट्राई इट आउट, और ट्राई करने में फिर वो एडिक्ट बन जाते हैं. A child's natural curiosity motivate him or her, not a gender bias, okay, to experiment. This is complicated further by effect that might be perceived as benefit of alcohol or drug use. Thus, the first use of drug or alcohol may be out of curiosity or experimentation, but later the child start using this to escape facing problem. Of late, stress from pressures to excel in academics and examination has played a significant role in persuading the youngster to try alcohol and drugs. The perception among youth that it is cool or progressive to smoke, use drug or alcohol is also in a way a major cause for you to start these habits. Television, movies, newspaper, internet also help to promote these perceptions. Other factors that have been seen to be associated with drug and alcohol abuse among adolescents are unstable and unsupportive family structure and peer pressure. Addiction and dependence. Because of the perceived benefit, drugs are frequently used repeatedly. The most important thing which one fails to realize is the inherent addictive nature of alcohol and drugs. Addiction is a psychological attachment to certain effects such as euphoria and a temporary feeling of well-being associated with drug and alcohol. These drive people to take them even when these are not needed or even when their use becomes self-destructive. With repeated use of drugs, the tolerance level of the receptor present in our body increases. Consequently, the receptor respond only to higher doses of drug or alcohol, leading to great intake and addiction. However, it should be clearly borne in mind that use of these drugs even once can be a forerunner to addiction. Thus, the addiction potential of drug and alcohol pull the user into a vicious circle, leading to their regular abuse from he or she may not be able to get out. In the absence of any guidance or counseling, the person get addicted and become dependent on their use. Dependence is the tendency of the body to manifest a characteristic and unpleasant withdrawal syndrome. If regular dose of drug alcohol is abruptly discontinued, this is characterized by anxiety, shakiness, nausea, and sweating, which may be relieved when use is resumed again. In some cases, withdrawal symptoms can be severe and even life-threatening, and the person may need medical supervision. Dependence lead the patient to ignore all social norms in order to get sufficient fund to satiate his or her need. These result in many social adjustment problems. Effect of drug alcohol abuse. The immediate adverse effect of drug and alcohol abuse are manifested in the form of restless behavior, vandalism, and violence. Excessive dose of drug may lead to coma and death due to respiratory failure, heart failure, or cerebral hemorrhage. A combination of drug or their intake along with alcohol generally result in overdosing and even death. The most common warning sign of drug and alcohol abuse among youth include drop in academic performance, unexplained absence from school, college, lack of interest in personal hygiene, withdrawal, isolation, depression, fatigue, aggressive and rebellious behavior, deteriorating relationship with family and friend, loss of interest in hobbies, change in sleeping and eating habit, fluctuation in weight, appetite, etc. There may even be some far-reaching implications of drug alcohol abuse. If an abuser is unable to get money to buy drug, alcohol, he or she may turn to stealing. The adverse effects are just not restricted to the person who is using drug or alcohol at time. A drug alcohol addict becomes the cause of mental and financial distress to his or her family and friends. Those who take drug intravenously, direct injection into the vein using a needle and syringe are much more likely to acquire serious infections like AIDS and hepatitis B. The viruses which are responsible for these diseases are transferred from one person to another by sharing of infected needles and syringes. Both AIDS and hepatitis B infections are chronic infections and ultimately fatal. Both can be transmitted through sexual contact or infected blood. The use of alcohol during adolescence may also have long-term effect. It could lead to heavy drinking in adulthood. The chronic use of drug and alcohol damages nervous system and liver cirrhosis. The use of drug and alcohol during pregnancy is also known to adversely affect the fetus. Another misuse of drug is what certain sportsmen do to enhance their performance. The misuse narcotic analgesics, anabolic steroid diuretics, and certain hormones in sports to increase muscle strength and bulk and to promote aggressiveness, and as a result increase athletic performance. The side effect of the use of anabolic steroid in female include masculinization features like male increased aggressiveness, mood swing, depression, abnormal menstrual cycle, excessive hair growth on the face and body, enlargement of clitoris, deepening of voice in male. It induces acne, increased aggressiveness, mood swings, depression, reduction of size of the testicle, decreased sperm production, potential for kidney and liver dysfunction, breast enlargement, premature baldness, enlargement of the prostate gland. These effects may be permanent with prolonged use in the adolescence, male or female. Severe facial and body acne and premature closure of the growth center of the long bones may result in stunted growth. Prevention and control. The age-old adage of prevention is better than cure holds true here also. It is also true that habits such as smoking, taking drug or alcohol are more likely to be taken up at a young age, more during adolescence, and it is better to identify the situation that may push an adolescent toward use of drug or alcohol and to take remedial measures well in time. In this regard, the parents and teacher have a special responsibility. Parenting that combines with high level of nurturance and consistent discipline has been associated with lower risk of substance, alcohol, drug, tobacco abuse. Some of the measures mentioned here would be particularly useful for prevention and control of alcohol and drug abuse among adolescents. Avoid undue peer pressure. Every child has his or her own choice and personality, which should be respected and nurtured. A child should not be pushed unduly to perform beyond his or her threshold limits, be in studies, sports, and other activities. Education and counseling. Educating and counseling him or her to face problems and stress and to accept disappointments and failure as a part of life. It would also be worthwhile to channelize the child energy into healthy pursuits like sports, reading, music, yoga, and other extracurricular activities. Seeking help from parents and peers. Help from parents and peers should be sought immediately so that they can guide appropriately. Help may even be sought from close and trusted friends. Besides getting proper advice to sort out their problem, this would help young to vent their feeling of anxiety and guilt. Looking for danger signs. Alert parent and teachers need to look for and identify the danger sign discussed above. Even friends, if they find someone using drug or alcohol, should not hesitate to bring this to the notice of parents or teacher in the best interest of the person concerned. Appropriate measure would then be required to diagnose the malady and the underlying causes. This would help to initiate proper remedial step of or treatment. Seeking professional and medical help. A lot of help is available in the form of highly qualified psychologists, psychiatrists, and de-addiction and rehabilitation programs to help individuals who have unfortunately got in the quagmire of drug alcohol abuse. With such help, the affected individual with sufficient effort and willpower can get rid of the problem completely and lead to a perfectly normal and healthy life. Summary. Health is not just the absence of disease, it is the state of complete physical, mental, social, and psychological well being. Diseases like typhoid, cholera, pneumonia, fungal infection of skin, malaria, and many other are a major cause of distress to human beings. Vector-borne disease like malaria, especially one caused by Plasmodium falciparum, is not treated, may prove fatal. Besides personal cleanliness and hygiene, public health measures like proper disposal of waste, decontamination of drinking water, control of vector like mosquito, and immunization are very helpful in preventing these diseases. Our immune system plays a major role in preventing these diseases. When we are exposed to disease causing agent, the innate defense of our body like skin, mucous membrane, antimicrobial substances present in our tears, saliva, and the phagocytic cell help to block the entry of pathogen into our body. If the pathogen succeed in gaining entry to our body or specific antigen, antibodies, humoral immune response, and cell mediated immune serve to kill these pathogen. Immune system has memory on subsequent exposure to same pathogen. The immune response is rapid and more intense. This forms the basis of protection afforded by vaccination and immunization. Among other diseases, AIDS and cancer kill a large number of individuals worldwide. AIDS caused by the human immunodeficiency virus is fatal but can be prevented if certain precautions are taken. Many cancers are curable if detected early and appropriate therapeutic measures are taken. Of late, drug and alcohol abuse among youth and adolescents is becoming another cause of concern because of the addictive nature of alcohol and drug and their perceived benefit like relief from stress. A person may try taking these in the face of peer pressure, examination related and competition related stresses. आप भी competition exam में तो आप ना लें. In doing so, he or she may get addicted to them. Education about their harm effect, counseling and seeking immediate professional medical help would totally relieve the individual from these evils. चैप्टर होता है हमारा यहाँ पे एंड. और ये लास्ट की बकवास ज़्यादा आती ही नहीं है. बकवास नहीं है वैसे, इट इज़ इम्पोर्टेंट इन्फॉर्मेशन, बट जब हमारे पेपर में नहीं आनी तो दैट इज़ वेस्ट फॉर अस. बाकी थैंक यू फॉर वॉचिंग. लाइक शेयर सब्सक्राइब माई चैनल अर्शी अंसारी फॉर मोर कंटेंट एंड स्टे ट्यून्ड फॉर मोर वीडियोज़ जो कि आपकी हेल्प करेंगी आपको अच्छे मार्क्स गेन करने में. वैसे तो सब कुछ लक वाली बेस भी होता है हमारे एग्जाम पे, बट जब तक पढ़ोगे नहीं तो लक भी कुछ नहीं कर पाएगा। तो पढ़ते रहिए, स्टडी हार्ड, बाय बाय, टेक केयर, एंड पूरी पूरी वीडियोस देखा करें।